He's going to say one or two words to introduce the Director of the Center for Academic Excellence at the University of Limpopo, Dr. Chabaya. Then Chabaya will do the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. And a very good morning to colleagues, the he's and the she's that are gathered here today. My task, is a bit difficult, mainly because when you have to introduce someone that you know who need to introduce someone else, then it becomes somehow tricky. But nevertheless, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you a friend of mine or a colleague. I've known her for quite some time. Is she, Prof Owens Chabaya, Acting Director, Center of Academic Excellence at the University of Limpopo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fatu. Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, colleagues. I know you are tired. You are up north. You can feel the heat, which you always hear from the news, to say the temperatures up there, they are high. And it's good that you are experiencing it. I know some of you, it's your first time to be up north here. And I hope you are going to enjoy our environment. It can be very hot, but a bit cold at times. So I'm sure Thursday will give you a bit of that coldness, just for you to feel the two temperatures. When we say cold, the one which is so cold in some provinces, that is their home. So, right, what I would want to say is, I don't want to welcome you, but I just say welcome to the University of Limpopo. You are here to have a feel of a rural university. You are here to feel the experience of a university which is outside town, situated in the villages. This is University of Limpopo. This is where we are. I know most of you knew the name and they've never been here. Feel free to move around to see what is around in our institution. And I'm sure today you will take the day to know more about the University of Limpopo before you go back to your respective places after the conference. And at the moment, I want to take this opportunity to introduce the management
or progress to speak of. And of course, all of us who are gathered here, we are who we are today because we were taught very well by our parents, our relatives, our uncles, and even our siblings, and of course, society in general. In my culture, we say a child does not only belong to his or her biological parents, but to the community in which the child has been born. So it shows that teaching indeed is indispensable. Even at our early stages of life, we are taught how to eat, how to use a spoon, how to use a fork and knife, and even how to take a bath. All these might seem like mundane or unimportant, but they are critical. That is why we are here. the teachers, medical doctors, specialists, and I know some of us do pay them a visit when we are afflicted by this or that ailment. Those specialists were taught by teachers to operate on their patients. We also have scientists who today are speaking largely of the climate change environment in which we find ourselves. All these have to undergo teaching and learning in one way or another. And of course, we also have psychologists, the farmers who feed us, the mechanics who take care of our cars. All these were taught to be good in their respective professions. So we are grateful that Heltasa has not abandoned this idea. However, it is worth observing that currently, higher education is no longer just about imparting knowledge. It's about shaping resilient, adaptable, and innovative minds capable of navigating rapidly in this changing world. We aim not only to educate, but to nurture understanding that a truly impact learning experience engages the whole student, their intellect, creativity, well-being, and a sense of purpose. As we explore holistic approaches today, we also recognize that fostering these qualities goes beyond a single classroom interaction or syllabus or curriculum offering. That is why the term and conference is so relevant for this conference. It calls for a comprehensive, interconnected approach, blending academic rigor with practical, emotional, and social development. By viewing education as a dynamic, integrative experience, we prepare students to engage meaningfully in the world, to think critically, to solve complex problems, and thrive in diverse environments. And just as importantly, we turn our attention to innovation, embracing cutting-edge tools and technologies that enhance learning, whether through digital platforms like the one I'm using now, project-based learning, or collaborative environments. Our mission is to create spaces that encourage exploration, creativity, and engagement. During this conference, we would like to encourage all of you today to share your insights, exchange ideas, and think boldly. I would like to challenge you all to be open to the possibilities and be motivated by the belief that we can shape the future of higher education in South Africa to be more inclusive, adaptive, and impactful. Thank you all for being here and for contributing your expertise, your passion, and your vision. Through the papers you are going to present, let us make this conference a meaningful and transformative experience for all. Enjoy the sessions, and once again, welcome. How do I say thank you in Afrikaans? Oh, baie dankie. And in isiXhosa, how do I say thank you? Oh, ndiyabulela. Okay. Which language have I excluded? I want to end with that one. Okay, it's a common language here. I want a language that is not so common. Oh, in Xitsonga, akhensa swinene.
Thank you, our DVC. We now feel at home. We feel at home because we are at home. We normally say this is the only University of Limpopo in the Limpopo province. So welcome. We are here because we were organized by the Heltasa. The owners of this occasion are here. The chairperson, it's your time.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Gotta stand on a chair or something. Okay, can we move this? I think we can. Is this better? Great, thank you. Thank you so much, DVC, for that welcome. I think the encouraging words, which fit so much into what today was going to start off with, and of course we're starting with it now. And then again, there was, I heard something yesterday and people told me Tobela is a greeting around here. Is that true? Okay, so I'm greeting you with Tobela, and then I'm going to say hello and welcome everybody. I'm going to also extend Heltasa's apology. We are not the owners of Heltasa. We are the collective people who make up Heltasa. And so it is an association that is there in the higher education space, and I think it's part of everybody within the sector, whether you're a member or not. Changes we would, and together that we can start to make to happen as well. So I just want to encourage you with that, especially the fact that you're sitting here today, that you are now a Heltasa member because you've paid up for next year. And I think part of my presentation, thank you. So I think part of the process of this morning and the switches and the changes we're going to make, I'm not going to do the full presentation intended. As you understand, again, we're extending that apology for starting later. But as I've been hearing this morning and yesterday, it's an experiential opportunity. So we're going to take it into that process, our experiential learning, of course, and we're going to take it forward. And something that struck me, and maybe it was interesting about the ownership part of today's conversation, because something struck me very early this morning, and I sent Adriano this change as well, where we called today Mikoko, and it was titled Mikoko with Heltasa under the baobab, and it struck me, sorry, somebody's going to get it right for me. Please, somebody, please pronounce it correctly for me. Mikoko. I'm going to learn that this whole day, and by this tomorrow, I'm going to get it right. Thank you. And I guess that's what today is going to be all about, lots and lots of learning together and sharing. Yeah, and this idea about would struck me, because if we are all Heltasa, it cannot be with, and so it's as. So we are all the collective, the shared space. Whatever happens or what has been happening already, let's hold that space together. Let's hold the space for each other, and let's take each other forward towards the next few days as well. So I am inviting all of us to just commit to doing that and to be holding space for each other. I think I'm going to jump quickly into the idea of the baobab as well. We've been using it and you've been seeing it all so often. And I think at that point I'd like to thank Adriano here, who's come up with a lot of those designs wherever you've seen them. And to just say that the aspect of the baobab is so significant, particularly right now. You know, UL, one of our hosts, is 65 years old this year. Heltasa is 20 years old this year. Okay? Yeah. And we have some members here that's been here since that time. So well done to you. Congratulations. And the significance of the baobab is actually life, endurance, resilience. It stands for longevity. It stands for sustenance. It provides shelter and sustenance to a diverse set of species. And it also brings together, it's a hub, a communal hub that brings people together under its shades, its wide branches as well. And so it's so fascinating to think of institutions as that, of context as that, and hopefully this, if I look at ourselves spread out here, being the branches of the baobab, I think that's so significant and so important as we go forward. But Heltasa went on this drive and the shift, and we put out our scholarship about unconference. In April, there was an issue in Crystal, and I think you'd find that in the pack that you received, particularly the annual report that you received that we put out as well. And part of that process was to change that idea of using as a decolonial gesture to stretch our thinking about what it would mean to participate in a social, in an academic gathering as such. And so unconference is not an anti-conference, it's not used as a binary, it's used as the opportunity to stretch our thinking in alternative ways. And part of that thinking is, what is our responsibility as participants? So delegates, we shifted that conceptually out and brought in participants, thinking of yourself as a participant during the process and having and engaging in participatory ways. And how did we create opportunity for that in different ways? We're still not getting everything right. We're trying. And so we would love to have ideas from you as well, because you may have some fantastic ideas that's more open, inclusive, diverse, and can be, a way of engaging, a way of connecting. And we'd love to welcome that, particularly at our AGM, where we're definitely going to see you. And what we're also going to see you when you come, you're going to participate and not just listen, because we put out that annual report so you can read all about us and our history, where we are, what's happening with us, and come with some interesting questions that we can help you understand how you can participate further during the next year as well, and beyond that. And I think what became important is to understand then what is our responsibility as we offering some things to work with, and what could be your responsibility. And I think for us this morning, or going through the next few days, is to set ourselves as these participants within the unconference space, as a collective, as an individual, as a professional, from your personal capacity, from your practice capacity. And some of the things I want to ask of yourself to think about is you taking an unconferencing approach. What will your unconferencing approach be during these next few days? What will it be for you? What does being present in an unconference mean for you? Or what will it mean for you? What does being an active participant mean for you? Right? If you want to think about alternative ways of knowing, of doing, of being, at an unconference, what will it mean? And what will your actions be then? What are you going to challenge yourself to do that you may have been doing in other spaces, other academic gatherings, but you want to do further or do differently at this one? And what are some of the intentions you want to set for yourself? And I think I've got a few things. I'm not going to go through everything because I've reduced the time for this, but I want to pick on the highlighted aspects. And so when you get that book of proposals, and if you go through it, because it'll help you set your intentions. Think about what are the 3 must-go-to sessions I want to be present at. Yeah? I'm only saying 3. Of course, you may have 6, 5, 4, whatever the case may be. I'm just giving you a suggestion. If you think about it, if you've read it already, or if you're looking at it now on your phone, maybe find those 3 that you really want to be there because it matters in the way you want to take back things, or your thinking, or your research, or your practice area. And then maybe 3 nice to experience sessions that you want to be present at. And I think key people then you want to meet. I mean, we keep on saying this is an opportunity to connect. With the bus trip, lots of people were sitting differently with each other, and you were connecting already. Lots of stories that you could tell. See, we gave you space to talk and tell stories this morning. But how often it is when we get to conferences, the lunch times and tea times matter more. We're having so much more conversations out of those sessions than within the sessions. And today we want to disrupt that and have more opportunity for those conversations rather than the presentations and then conversations. And I think it's important to say, 3 key people that you look at who's presenting, who's here, who's present. Perhaps you recognize them from research, from the literature, from spaces, and maybe you want to connect with them. Get engaged with the portal, maybe set up informal meetings and connect. The other thing is that maybe find 3 people you met previously a while ago, and perhaps you want to strengthen that connection. You want to do some reconnection with that. So think about your networking and how you're going to take that forward. I think we've done that. Okay, and then of course the opportunity rests for other ideas from you, because you could have brilliant ideas that I'm hoping you're going to share with others, or even at some point share with us how we go on about this. How do you see yourself as an active participant during the next few days in an unconference? How do you want to challenge your taken for granted assumptions of your own ways of being at these gatherings, and what is it that you want to take forward for yourself? I had other ideas here. If there's anybody here with an idea right now that we should be thinking about how we can be in the next few days, please go ahead and let's hear. Anyone? Thank you. I'm wondering.
So in light of what you've just shared, my thought was we should all just talk to the person next to us, introduce ourselves, and connect heart to heart with one person, eye to eye, heart to heart. Maybe just 1 minute each.
That's a great idea. I experienced that in June with May Zimad, the heart connection. So I'm going to welcome you to get us to do that for the minute. Please go ahead.
Okay, so please turn to the person next to you, and I'd like you to share with them something that you're hoping for in the new year. No, this is fine. It's not about me. Ready, set, go. sharing, and if you haven't switched yet, let the other partner share.
Thank you so very much. I think that was so heartwarming. Thank you. It was? Yeah, see, we're getting some thoughts there. And you're going to carry this heartwarming conversations into tea just now, because I'm ending the session in 2 minutes. I can get 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, great. Now, Adriana is going to send out the set of slides where you can also start to look at how you'll challenge yourself further with some of the other aspects within it. And when you go beyond, it is the work of actually Maze Imad, and she speaks of trauma-informed pedagogy. And it's quite fascinating, her work as well. And, you know, a lot of what you did is part of that purpose of heart, you know, coming in with the heart and connecting. And but what she gives us and what she offers us that I've been able to pull through and add onto this is that opportunity to ask ourselves, we've all been through COVID, like we all went through the 2015 moment, which is going to be 10 years next year. And the question is, how quickly did we go back? You know, this go back that the university's been asking us to do? What was this? We going back to normal, back to reality, right? But what is it? I mean, so what she challenges us to think about as well is that we all now have a baseline. The world over, we've experienced it in different ways, but that was a phenomena we all went through, right? And what she says is that in this go back, we have somehow gone back to some of those silent, unconscious agreements we've always worked with. And so there's a lot of, and some of us may call it the cultural aspects that happens, and some of us may call it the belief aspects, the taken for granted assumptions that become practice and everyday norms, okay? And she worked with particularly the stem cell area, stem cells, look at me, and she is a biologist as well. And she worked in the STEM areas, but I'm saying the things that she pulls out for us is actually what affects us in even our everyday personal lives. And I can attest to some of it. And so she pulls 3 areas of silent agreements that we've just sort of gone back into and we work with. And one of them is the idea of privileging the Eurocentric knowledge, the dominance of that, and we just continue with some of those things. Sorry, Adriano. Okay, and the other one is the idea of scarcity. That somehow we believe that everything is less and we have to do more. and more and more. And as a mother, and from my own cultural background, I think of my own home. I think of how I behave when visitors are coming. There's never enough. There's always must be more. And I think, my God, that's so true. I don't have to even go to my practice and to the institution. I do this as a person. And why do we live in this way, thinking that there's scarcity and we need to have more and more and more? And the third one that she brings up that's also very interesting is this idea of objectivity. Somehow academic lives are like driven by this objective stance, you know, and yet I'm a person. I have a heart, like we all touched into it, and I have my own feelings and emotions, and I have a being that I'm holding in here as well. I need to let my being out, or else I'm being somewhere else as somebody else. And so I think that idea of what are our biases? What are my subjectivities? I think that's very important as well. And I think what she does very interestingly is this work with students. And I see a hand, I'm going to come to you just now. She does this work as well with students, and she says, ask yourself, what are some of these silent agreements you are working with that you are not even aware of? And challenge it and unpack it. And she offers the way to unpack and then to rethink and challenge that and come up with new alternatives, new ways of being, and being with students and being in the classroom, being in practice, and I would say for myself, being in me and being who I am as well. So I think that's valuable opportunity for reflection, because very often we will say, you got to challenge your taken for granted assumptions, and I would say, really, I don't know how. So I think it's one way off to enter the space and to start working with other things. So this is what you will get. I'm going to take that hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be chairperson of Heltasa. I do think that one biggest challenge that we have in front of us is the state of the world and our awareness of what is happening in the world. That in our
Thank you so much for that acknowledgement, and it's absolutely true. We have to acknowledge those who've come before, we have to acknowledge those who will come beyond us, but also what is currently happening all around us and beyond the present moment in time, and particularly the idea of human suffering, human loss, human deprivation, environmental struggles and challenges all across the world. All over within this, our species of being human. So thank you very much for that. I think with that, I'm going to invite us to tea, Greg, or I'll invite Greg to lead us next. But thank you, and have a wonderful unconference, and challenge yourself, and we want to see these new ways of your being an active participant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. Colleagues, good morning. My name is Greg Krul. I'm one of the Heltasa deputy chairs. We are going to go now into tea break, so we'll have 20 minutes for tea. Tea is just outside here in the foyer where people registered. Straight after tea break, we're immediately going to go into small group conversations. Small group conversations, I'm going to be standing at the door as you go into tea. Get a slip of paper from me that will assign you randomly to your small group. We really want people to be in different groups, meet new people, don't sit with, with the same university colleague that you came with. In your conversation groups, they'll be led by the co-facilitators from the Heltasa project teams. Most of us are wearing a hat. That's how you can identify it. That's why I wore this. But can I ask Heltasa project team members just for a second to put up your hand, just so people can get a sense of who some of you are. These will be the people that will be co-facilitating, thank you, co-facilitating the small group conversations. We'll be going into a conversation. You'll be having two 15-minute conversations related to a theme or related to one of the sub-themes. So the facilitator will lead the discussion for 15 minutes. Then you will go in and you will swap and get a different facilitator and you'll have a different conversation. So every group will have two different conversations this morning. The three venues for the small groups are the one venue is in here, so you'll just go to different spaces of that. While the in-person people are doing that in here, the online participants will go into breakaway rooms with facilitators as well. So the one group will be here. The other ones are going to be R70, R70, and R75. They are just, if you walk out of the door here, go upstairs, the part of the building just under the sort of patio. Just walk up a few meters, you'll see R70 on the left and R75 on the right. In each room, there'll be three different small groups. So you'll be assigned R70 A, B, or C, or R75 A, B, or C. I hope that is clear for everyone. If you're not sure about it, please ask someone from the Heltasa project team members. With that, don't forget to grab your tickets on the way to tea. Please enjoy your tea. Thank you.